Hi there, welcome to Everyday Conversation with Everyday People. I'm Germaine Lim of Elpis at Hideout. This is a series of conversations that I will be having with people from all walks of life, and we will be addressing issues that matters. Today, I will be talking to Miss Cleo, and I call her a lady of many talents. She has done interpretation, she has been a PA to a CEO, and she has also acquired a huge myriad of HR skills. Today, we will be talking about re-engineering, and that is old skills versus new ability. Now, if you feel that you need to re-engineer yourself into the new normal, this is one conversation you should not miss. Good morning, Cleo. How are you? Welcome to
Hi, morning, Germaine.
Hi. Welcome to Everyday Conversation with Everyday People. And thank you for joining me on my virtual sofa, to have a chat, right? So Cleo, you know that we have just had a 2.5 months, pausing, right? So all of us literally cannot do anything, right? So now as we are stepping out, into what everybody likes to call the new normal, okay? So I want to talk to you today about re-engineering ourselves because I know you have HR background. I'm going to make full use of that, okay? So Cleo, I just want to address first and foremost this little elephant in the room. Something about old skills and new ability. Okay, so I want you to share your ideas of what do you mean by old skills, and then what do you mean by new abilities, and are they actually the same thing?
Thank you, Germaine. I'm very honored to be invited by you to do this sharing on the topic of free engineer.
Yeah.
I was a medical interpreter for SPA and medical congresses for many years, and recently I've just been certified as a human resources administrator before the pandemic was announced. So I used to do language translation and interpretation. That was the only skill set I had. So that's considered as my old skill. Yeah, I was like very technical. But the new skill during these 2.5 months that I've developed in my normal time that not working now, was to learn how to do online content writing, using apps to design social media poster, and learning to build an online e-franchise business platform to develop myself as a self-employed to stand by so that maybe eventually I could work for myself and teach others who wants to be likewise. I know this is a brave decision I've made because after working for a few years being an employee, I believe that this new decision that will grow me in my bravery, I believe that I have chosen the right platform. Yeah. And the values that I hold on to. Yeah, and to do this, it takes courage, and the values I hold on to has always been my strength to adopt new practices and even do the right thing when nobody is policing me, and also to be a supporter to close friend who is in need now, going through the same journey as I am.
That is good. Thank you so much, Cleo, because we all know, right? We are living in a real world, and we have already heard story of people, losing jobs, actually most of the time through no fault of theirs, because some of the jobs just disappeared overnight, didn't they? What we used to do, we don't anymore. So it's either you upgrade, you follow, or you fall behind. So now I'm gonna ask you, based on what you yourself had done to yourself, so what do you think you need to have stepping into the new normal in order to re-pivot?
What it takes to be ready in the new normal, as what you were saying just now. I was saying that with a leap of faith and encouragement from the Word of God. Initially, I was still like applying for a full-time job until now. It's been 2 months and there's no response. So I decided not to be disheartened about it. So I take one day at a time. I wake up at my usual time. I sleep at my usual time. I list out the activities that I want to do in learning this new skill set and to continue practicing it to be familiar. So that this new soft skill that I've picked up is to learn to be a better communicator, to also perceive a situation before making a conclusion. So I've been quite active on my Facebook and give comments and read about articles and learning how to give some advice to friends who are stuck in their trail of thoughts with their family members. The behavior has changed because everybody is confined in one area now. And then it also enlarges my capacity to learn about others' emotion and mine too. It's actually a very precious time of cultivation of more good habit for me in terms of soft skill development, Germaine.
I want to particularly address two groups, two very vulnerable groups of people. I've done my research and I look at the group that is now swinging from late 40s into late 50s, right? This is a very vulnerable group. And another group is the fresh grads that are stepping into society. And this pandemic really have, derailed a lot of things for these two groups. So let's just address the first group, and that is your late 40s into your late 50s. Now, is it very important for this group of people to change their mindset, realign themselves, reinvent themselves, if you like, with new abilities?
Well, I like to share this to break up in the few sector as well as pertaining to the employment age range. It actually depends on the industry. The fintech industry, they are already ongoing with IT application. And the healthcare sector has increased its capacity to set up screening step for this pandemic. So recently, IMDA has employed thousands of digital ambassadors to educate hawkers, the traditional retailers that are still using cash payment, to educate them to switch to e-payment. We are progressing into a smart nation. So everyone will have to move along and progress as the world emerging into digitalization.
Yeah.
However, people who are in realtors, who do virtual presentation and who already done using drone or video, to capture the unit or the space that they wanted to retail to their customer, they continuously doing the business. But for those who are still rely on face-to-face, it will be about downtime for them. So I will always encourage people who are in their 40s and 50s, do not be afraid of IT software. You just have to step up and do it one step at a time. Just keep practicing it. Once you're familiar with it, you'll be confident to go. And
yeah, that's right.
PMETs, those are in their 40, 50, I realized that they have worked for quite a vast number of years. So I reckon that they have very rich experiences and transferable skills.
Yeah.
These are very special, precious attributes, and they are special in their own way that can guide a company to grow in quality and in capacity.
And so now we switch to the younger folks, the future of Singapore. It's not their fault that they're stepping out, after graduation, like, okay, this pandemic, what in the world is going to happen to us now? So what do you think for the grads? Because you very rightly pointed out that the previous group still have experience backing them up, no matter what. The young groups can have.
My logical thought is always like that. Every year, there will be one big group of people who are going into their retirement phase.
Yes,
and then these will be replaced by the new fresh graduate. However, I reckon that the fresh graduate, they enter into adulthood stage of life where they get to decide what is important to them, what career they want to build, who they want to choose to share their life together. Even under normal circumstances, this can be also difficult to decide. So a lot of uncertainties are faced due to this pandemic.
Correct.
With many adjustments, our nation is working very hard to sustain livelihood during this critical period. However, know for sure that this will end, life will resume. Our nation has already contained the situation well. We get WhatsApp update from gov.sg every day, sometimes even 3 times a day. So this pandemic has also surfaced the existence of many businesses that suddenly become non-essential. So when businesses realize that are become non-essential, they will have to transfer into a new industry. So for example, the aviation and the tourism sector of Singapore, they have braved the storm by deploying the staff to healthcare sector and education sector while they're on standby mode to actually resume duty when the lockdown is being lifted up. Actually, now is the best opportunity presented to the new graduate because they could take this time to rewrite their new course of life based on good values like integrity, excellence, and humility. They are actually the best educated generation in this century. Why? Because they are very technological savvy and they are so widely exposed to perspective than my generation. They are more outspoken, empathetic, entrepreneurial, practicing social care and environmental friendly minded before they even graduate. So they already make their mark during their tertiary time to exercise their passion, helping out the underprivileged, mentoring the young, and building eco solution to reduce waste. So I felt that they are setting the stage life ahead, and I know that it shall be a very impactful journey for themselves and for our country. So one note I would like to share with the new fresh graduate, they must decide just for this temporary few months, they could just, I think they should just compromise their salary and get started with a job first, build up practical experiences, serve the demand of the duties required that will add on to their learning and may even develop their problem-solving skill that one day they will be able to put two and two together. And I felt that this is the best time also for them to learn how a company operates during crisis that will enrich their experiences that I strongly believe. And it's also a time that flourishes creativity, practical transformation that bring revenue to the company. So if you're a fresh graduate, you're dreaming about being your own boss, take an internship, work for a boss himself and learn the ropes. And after that, you can decide whether is it for you or not. Yeah, but I felt very blessed because I felt that our country greatest asset is you, the fresh graduate. So remember that we are a country without natural resources. So we need your gifts and talents to continue in building our country based on justice and equality so as to achieve happiness and prosperity for our nation. So meanwhile, while you are applying for a job, I encourage you to take time to serve in whatever capacity you can while waiting for your full-time dream job to come. And along the way, you might discover new things.
Cleo, you are so right. As you were talking, I was just thinking, right? Isn't this a perfect time when people reassess their situation that they can just simply come out and say, why do I need to graduate and go look for a job? Why can't I create something?
Yes.
Entrepreneurs are never born. Entrepreneurs, come about through your learning and everything. Am I right?
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to deal with this last question based on what you have said before. I think it's so important to realize skills versus ability. Because a lot of people always say that, the older folks have skills, but the younger folks have ability, So I don't think so. I think people need both. Don't you agree?
I believe the values we hold is always our compass to navigate our life to work. Skills can be taught and learned. Abilities is to be able to learn it quickly and do it. But sometimes we are born with certain ability, like I can do drawing, singing, and can do music. Some people just cannot, but they can do math very fast. They can do science very fast. They can do logic very fast. So we have different abilities, but skill set is always able to learn. And there are many tests available in the market to discover our psychometric traits. So derived from these personality trait tests, right, will also be able to provide us a more accurate suggestion of what type of work or what type of work environment is suitable for you. Like for example, if a software engineer could write program and his company suddenly, because it's not essential that he cannot work, or a fresh graduate who has already graduated with this software engineering background, but they could teach, right? They could teach this similar subject to a class, so they can do online tutorial, isn't it? And the other thing I was just thinking about, abilities grows and grows as you cultivate more and more. It doesn't fade away. But the skill set, once you put into practice, after a while, if you don't continue to practice, it will just dissipate, right? So whether is it skill set, is always continuous learning, but the abilities that is already given from God and you keep honing it, is going to get finer and finer. So I always see that it's not about the age, it's always about a mindset, and it's always having a heart to just keep going. Yeah, better days will come.
And well said. Thank you so much, Cleo. So on that note, I have to thank you for joining me on my virtual sofa. And I hope that next time when I see you, we can share a coffee together. Okay, so to all the people who are watching us now, if you want to connect with Cleo, please visit us at www.elpishideout.com and we will connect you to Cleo. So Cleo, thank you so much, for joining us, and have a good day ahead. Bye.
Thank you, Germaine, for inviting me. Bye-bye.
Bye.